Thank you for auditing the always positive new music review show hosted by a French professor who last week celebrated the birth of this channel. Today is my actual birthday. And to celebrate that, I'm going to review a project that I really enjoy. If you want to give me a birthday gift, you can smash like, bucket, heart at AVAA, whatever. But I'm going to be reviewing Conway the Machine and 38 Spesh's. It's not quite an EP, it's an album. It's a short album, Speshal Machinery. And part of the reason why I want to review this, I just like it. I think it's great. I love talking about any kind of Griselda-related project. But really, I love it because I have sort of accidentally become a Western New Yorker. You know, there was a time in my life when I was like 22, I got caught in a speed trap in this little hellhole of a town called Tupper Lake. And the cops, charged me a couple $100 and I paid them, and then they told me I didn't pay them, made me pay them again. And I swore right there, I will never live in New York State. 15 years later, I get a job, and here I am, right? So I've come to love Western New York. I've come to love the area where I am, and it's great because we have 38 Spesh, who's from Rochester, which is the city that is closest to where I live, a city that I go to a couple times a week. And then we have Buffalo, where we have Conway the Machine. And the neat thing is, even though I don't represent the college where I teach, right? I'm independent of my college. I do not represent them in any ways. I speak as an individual. It is basically equidistant between those two cities. So for my birthday, the hip-hop professor at said unnamed university is just going to bask in the great art that is made on either side of where I get to teach, right? I mean, so much of it, of course. It's hard because when you live in Western New York, Rochester is famous for being the best place. It's famous for being filled with total snobs who will tell you that it's the best place. But obviously, Buffalo wins the rap game with the entire Griselda crew, plus the Griselda affiliates. And really, in my opinion, it's Conway who we have to... not Conway who we have to thank, but I think Conway is... perhaps on a rap side, as an MC, the most interesting. And also just the projects that he's been coming out with have been so good. And that's what's so amazing, is that it seems like Westside Gunn and Conway are in this kind of competition for producing and making albums with their friends, and they just keep on releasing great albums. So not only are their solo projects good, right? And I have been a little bit disappointed by Conway's solo projects in the last couple of years. But, you know, he did that project with Jay Skis, which was as good as anything he's ever done before. And this project with 38 Spesh is just as good as that. This is as much as I've ever enjoyed Conway. Now, I've never reviewed 38 Spesh. It's weird, you know, you'd think, because this is the city, nearest to which I live, that I would have reviewed it. But I don't, maybe it's just the fact that his name is a gun and guns bum me out. I don't know what it is, but I'm stupid. I have been sleeping for no good reason on an extremely... You want to know how good of a rapper he is? This is coming up later. I made one of these things for a verse that he has, okay? That's how good 38 Spesh is. Not just his flow, not just his voice, but his perspective. He's coming at things from a sort of wise perspective. He's not really talking about flossing. He's not talking about spending money. He is talking about crime. He is talking about making money. But he has a sort of wisdom to his approach, which I find reassuring. And also, it sort of makes sense, right? He's a little bit older. He's in his late 30s, as are most of the Griselda crew. So it sort of makes sense that they're not talking like 22-year-olds. You're gonna have to forgive the sound of the lawnmower in the back. That's just a reality of my life right now. I had to choose whether or not to record this as a birthday gift to myself or not. All the way throughout, the words that I just gave is just the bars are nutty. Just if you are a rap fan and you like bars and you like rhymes, you like multisyllabic rhymes, you like funny punchlines, you like great metaphors, sports metaphors, crime metaphors, all that kind of stuff, all of it, it's all right here. I mean, they are really... I don't understand how Conway is so prolific, how he's able to come up with so many great verses in the span of a year, even while I just sort of said that his solo projects have underwhelmed me recently. That doesn't mean he doesn't just still come out with so many great verses. And then we have the production, which is all produced by 38 Spesh with Jimmy Dukes, who's from, you want to guess where? He's from Buffalo as well. So we have a full-on Glory of Western New York album. It is interesting because the production on here, it varies. It's not all kind of Griselda grime. At times it seems to be going for sort of a G-unit sound, you know? I didn't mean to stutter on sound. Sometimes it seems to be going for more of a poppy sung chorus thing. It does a lot of interesting things. But I'm going to give you an example of this album. The title track, click above the banana, above the person who shares an exact birthday with me. His album, that's why she's back there. Special Machinery, the title track. First of all, the production by 38 Spesh and Jimmy Dukes is just outstanding. We have this weird, like, machine little sample, some very cinematic strings, very solid drums laid over it, some harpsichord, very tight drums. And as if you watch this channel, you know I love it when they extend the sample from time to time, when they just kind of, like, will take part of it and then just let it play out a little bit more. It does that halfway through the first verse, kind of later on as well. There's even, if you listen to it on headphones, some division in the channels. Like there's like bongos, which I didn't hear when I was listening to it, on the Bluetooth speaker with my baby. I mean that like baby, like wah wah, not like hey baby. She loves all this kind of underground rap stuff. So you hear the bongos actually in the left channel. And then everything gets all kind of ready. We get kind of psyched up. And then we have this amazing verse by 38 Spesh. And you might, now the lawnmowers are gone. But now Bo is over there and he is snoring in the bird of paradise. So if you hear Bo snoring, just know that's what that sound is. You can't get mad at a YouTuber whose dog is taking a nap. You can't leave comments. You can try. Leave a nasty comment about Bo sleeping. I dare you. So I'll give you an example of 38 Spesh's style, right? Where I get it from, I got it made like the Special Ed song. Special Ed. I always thought he was from Boston. My brother told me he was from Boston back in 1989. He's not from Boston. There's like Guru and that's it as far as old school rappers from Boston. There's more. Don't get me started with the Made Men. There's more. But in general, I came from Boston. I've always claimed Special Ed. Turns out he's from Brooklyn, or I think Brooklyn. Anyway, so makes a reference, old school rap reference. I'm the they got the feds on, might see me with a fluffy French bulldog, that rare fawn. I be dead calm, I said something's wrong, I transformed to a lead storm. Hope you read Psalms, your future I understand, cause we getting blood on our hands. That's how we read palms, that's how we read palms. The line is that's how we read palms, but he's rhyming with read Psalms, but he's rhyming like reading palms, like reading your future, right? I once did that, and I have a scar right here where I almost drowned in the ocean. I fell off a rock, and it actually connects my lifeline and my love line. And the person who was reading my palm said that it was very important. So it turns out that tells me that love is important in my life. There you go. But so it's how you read palms, but he's also very clearly thinking about playfulness, because read, another way to read is to say red. That's the past tense, but it's spelled the same way. So red palms, why would your palms be red? Because as he just said in the previous line, getting blood on our hands. Your future, I understand, getting blood on our hands. That's how we read palms. That's how we read palms. It's all here. Say a prayer for my dead moms and my brother until we get back together. I'm a bear arms. So making a very sort of personal moment here to people that he's lost. My shooters know I take care of them. They treat me like Farrakhan. I'm that in rare form. Trust, which is the name of the Rochester collective that he is the leader of or part of. I should know more about Rochester rap. If you want to give me advice on where to go in terms of learning more about Rochester rap music, I'm there. I reviewed that Riggs album last year. It was great. He even commented on it. He said, salute. He said, salute, prof. So there you go. And then Conway comes on, like very little time. Now, this is a rap. It's not like a rapidy rap album. It's not trying to be super complex, but it is just a bars album. Just fork in the pot with my wrist circling, talking O's and blocks like Lil Durk in them. It's just great. Like that's Conway's ability, where he's talking obviously about cooking up crack and O's as being ounces and blocks as being a place to sell. But then he says like Lil Durk in them. Lil Durk is a Chicago rapper from the O block. So he is saying talking O's and blocks, but then he rhymes the word circling with Lil Durk in them. This is the glory of rap music and rap poetry, okay? It's called a mosaic rhyme, by the way, where you rhyme multiple syllables, multiple syllabic word with individual syllables. You know, the greatest example is Notorious B.I.G. Escargot, my cargo. Escargot is one word, my cargo is three. My wrist circle in, talking nose and blocks like Lil Durk in them, right? Goes off and just has this whole line about it boggle minds how I'm effing models like that Jack Harlow guy. I just like it because he's acknowledging that he knows who Jack Harlow is, but he throws on the Jack Harlow guy just to make sure that you know that he's not like trying to get too close. Later on, he has just one of these great badass verses. Not only putting chinks in your armor, we about to break your shield. Beautiful image, right? So you're trying to protect yourself and you think you're just going to get a little tiny, but actually the entire shield is going to be broken. At the end, the sample plays out, the strings are more pronounced, some ghostly vocals. I don't know enough about 38 Spesh and Jimmy Dukes' working relationship to know. Is this like typical of 38 Spesh's production style? Is this typical of Jimmy Dukes? Why are there so many good rap producers and rappers out of a population base as small as Buffalo and Rochester? No one wants to live over here, by the way. We are losing population. The demographics are down. It's a beautiful place to live. Cost of living is low. Lots of culture. Got Wegmans. It's great. But anyways, people don't want to live here. It's amazing the level. And this is really, if I could go on a little tangent. It's my birthday, so I'm going to go on a tangent. Part of the reason I love studying art, any kind of art, I don't care what kind of art we're talking about. I happen to be talking about underground hip-hop from the Invisible Renaissance, but I could be talking about anything. Something happens where in a certain place, people realize they can do something. And then human genius comes out. They're like, oh, I can do this thing? Then all of a sudden, all of the people from that place who see someone else do what they're doing say, I can do that thing too. It's the story of Buffalo and rap music. There's going to be great rap music coming out of Buffalo forever now, because some guys figured out how to do it, how to make a sound, and people are going to be able to say, this is a thing that we do here. But it's not like they're special for being from Buffalo. They're special because they've untapped their innate talent, love, and art that comes with being a human being. So, happy birthday to me for getting out that little positive point. Now, I almost had the stamp be the first track on the album. I'm going to go through the rest of the album a little bit quicker here. Before I do, if you don't know, if you leave the letters A, V, A on any of my videos, even old ones, I'll find the comment and I will give it a heart. It's my little permission structure for you saying something. Helps me with the algorithm. The algorithm is starting to warm up to me again after taking vacation. Things are a little bit better, but I'm still nowhere near where I was before my summer break. So let's talk about the intro. First of all, it starts off with Conway saying, I'm Trust 2. And it's great because, you know, he has his drum work label, which I would have seen, but I was picking up my kids at the airport. You know, he had a drum work festival. I was at the Hip Hop 50 festival at the exact same time. Though kind of missed it. I would like to see that. He had the compilation album, which I liked. I didn't have much to say about it, so I didn't review it, but I definitely liked it, you know. But he's saying he's also Trust 2. And that's a thing that a lot of these rappers are able to do now. They're able to be in multiple posses, crews, labels. Let's call them labels because that's what they are. They're able to be a bunch of multiple flocks, different labels to make different music, I guess with different revenue streams or different revenue. Man, I cannot imagine what it would be like to be like the entertainment lawyer for one of these guys, you know? Like, think about all the different sources of revenue that they're getting all over the place. Like from shows, from sponsor deals, personal appearances, like their records, the Drumwork records, the Trust records, the Griselda records, the Shady records. Like, it's got to be a nightmare. Anyways, what I like about this song is that it starts sort of in media res. It starts right in the middle. It just starts right off, totally drumless song. I think it's the only drumless song on here. It's got this organ, but it's a great bed for this attack. And what's great about this song, and they don't do it for the rest of it, but I do like it. I love it. If it were up to me, rappers would do the 2-man weave, the 3-man weave more often, where they complete each other's rhymes, right? So Spesh says, ain't seen they kids in so long, they forgot their ages, y'all frustrated from the observation. Cause y'all hate untins, watch they pages like a moody whore. And so what happens is he carried over the ages observations. Those were rhyming with things that Conway was rhyming before. So he picks up that rhyme and then he ends it with they pages and then tags it with the beginning of the next rhyme, which is like a moody whore. And then Conway picks up with let the double shots of Louis pour. So they're playing around. They're being like, okay, ages, or. You get it? It's cool. Don't make it like the baby at the Louis store. I don't know what that means, but it's funny. And then 38 comes on. He has, remember I was talking about his position, sort of how he has a kind of wisdom. Sorry, I have to move over my mug. This is my only merch, and I almost knocked it over. That would have been a sucky birthday gift. This was the mug that belonged to my late father. So, he says, 38, he says, ain't got shit to my name, so what are you going to sue me for? Independence is a true reward. You're a puppet, got strings like a back... You got strings in the back like a movie score. So first of all, he's making it clear that he doesn't have anything to lose, so you can't take anything away from him, which is a pretty strong way to brag about not being the kind of super wealthy, I got 10 Bugattis kind of guy that he's not pretending to be. But also that means he's independent. And then he's taking shots at rappers who are like that, got strings in the back like a movie score. Like, that's a really smart, fun line because movie scores often have strings in the back. He's talking about puppets and he's also talking about strings. Part of what makes the whole Griselda movement so great is that these guys are old, okay? And it's a bummer because, they might not be reaching the young youth, They might not be bumped out of all the Jeeps all over the country. But still, we're allowing rap music to get older, and then we're letting these people who have this talent develop their craft. And you got strings in the back like movie scores. That's just a great line. It's funny, it's true, it's making this point. It's sort of everything that I want a rap lyric to be. I think Conway recorded his verse as a voice memo because the audio quality on his voice isn't great, but I don't care about audio quality. Next track is Latex Gloves featuring Lloyd Banks. Nice little drums. It's got this cool like ding, 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 almost polyrhythm sound that creates this weird rhythm. Conway, take over the game like I'm Jordan when he played Malone. Poor Karl Malone. He's best remembered for being destroyed by, no. He's best remembered for his partnership with John Stockton and all those great things he did. But still, he's mainly known for being destroyed by Jordan. Lloyd Banks is interesting because I didn't pay that much attention to G-Unit back in the day. And I think it's like, I don't like his voice, so I don't like Lloyd Banks. But then I listen to his flow. Like, came a ways to get here and make a Brocky arm. Careful, had to stash the rocket, the Aki John. Like, I don't know what the hell he's talking about, but I really like the way he's putting those words together. So I might actually be more of a Lloyd Banks fan than I think I am, just because I don't happen to like his voice. I don't hate it. It's just not something I particularly like. And then we get to 38 Spesh's voice. Okay? So, if you've never read the Adam Bradley book, The Book of Rhymes, you should. It's a very good book. And if you've never gone online on the internet and followed sort of highlighted rhymes, you really should owe it to yourself. You owe it to yourself to do that, My favorite, is Notorious B.I.G. I make your mouthpiece so beats like Della Reese. I love watching that verse in particular. But what I've done here is I've taken this random verse from this one thing by 38 Spesh. And I've highlighted all of the rhymes by hand of things that rhyme. Cause it starts off with this line. I have to move these blocks. So these are three different words. Move these blocks. And throughout the entire verse, when it is yellow, that means it rhymes with move. When it's blue, it means it rhymes with these. And when it's pink, it means it rhymes with blocks. What I want you to see just from a distance is sometimes it's all in one word, right? Or two words, jewelry box. Sometimes it's broken up with one word, with two words, truly shocked. Sometimes it's three words, who we shot. But it creates that kind of rhythm and that fascination. So I'm going to put that up for you. I had to move these blocks, meet me at the beauty shop. That's the one owned by my cutie wop that got the booty shots. I ain't packing a Thule Glock, absolutely not, stash box. Because when I get stopped by the traffic duty cops, my last interaction, they was asking who we shot, gave them no reaction, so they acted truly shocked. This ain't a movie, awk. I stack fruity rocks. There's diamonds and emeralds and rubies and in my jewelry box. The cars we got show y'all who we not. 1500 at the bar and Louis shots. Walking around your B crib in my drawers and Louis socks. Got me confused, dog. Who you y'all thought who'd be stopped from upstate New York, a moody block. Play the gangster role, make your movie stop. All hoses birds, I'm with the bougie flock. Never let a groupie thoughts do me like Rudy Pops. Okay? That is rhyme crafting. And it's just here on this little 30-minute album. And this is the world's birthday gift to me. Making this right here, doing this, is about as much fun as I have on planet Earth. Okay? When I'm not with somebody that I love, this is as much fun as I can possibly have. It's just very clever and it's cool, because he's talking about like not having his gun with him because the cops might stop him, traffic duty cops. The way like when you're trying to do these kinds of rhyme runs, you have to make things sound a little bit different, like traffic duty cops. He had to think about how do I keep this thing going, traffic duty cops? As opposed to who we shot, as opposed to truly shocked. And then fruity rocks. I stack fruity rocks in my jewelry box. Who we not? Louis shots. It's great. It's what language can do, and it's what rap artists can do with language. Certainly masterful rap artists like 38 Spesh, who can do this in a way where you might have heard this and not even noticed. Put that up there. Love the space at the end on the production, just to get to let it lay out a little bit. Like I said, I listen to the stuff with my baby, and I try to get my baby to listen to music. And whenever there's like no rapping, I do a little beatboxing over it. So she really enjoyed it because there's a little bit of beatboxing time after this, and she'll do a little bit of this. So she's joining in. Next track is called Last Week. More of a developed sample, more ad libs, more of the kind of stuff, which, much like Conductor, We Have a Problem, I like to pretend like it bothers me, but it doesn't at all. I could hear people go do 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 brrr all day. Ha ha! Talk to him. I could just hear ad libs all day. I love Conway's flow and rhymes. He's really in his pocket here. I don't even know how to say that except that like sometimes he feels totally comfortable. Sometimes it feels like he's maybe pushing. This verse, he just feels totally comfortable. And then I'm going to make an interesting reference here. So remember I was talking about 38 Spesh and the way that he does things a little bit differently. You get your first little pack and spend G's at Saks. I'm rich, but I still get ish from TJ Maxx. So he's talking about having money but not flossing, not wasting money at Saks Fifth Avenue. And this happened to, not so randomly, remind me of a very interesting mogul. A guy named Malcolm Glazer. Rest in peace. Okay? So this is the guy who started a business, started from nothing. He went on to be so rich that he bought the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and bought Manchester United, the soccer team. And this is a video made by Tifo where they tell a little story about Malcolm Glazer. Now, understanding that 38 Spesh just insulted someone who takes their first G's and goes spends it at Saks Fifth Avenue because he has pants from TJ Maxx. Now let's watch this quote, which I assume 38 Spesh is not familiar with, from Malcolm Glazer.
Okay. Glazer was openly spendthrift. According to a 2005 profile in The Guardian, journalist Alan St. John met with Glazer to discuss a potential biography. Glazer pointed at St. John's trousers. Those pants are Hugo Boss pants. They cost $200. My pants? They came from J.C. Penney, 1995, on sale. And you know something? I like my pants more than he likes his pants. You know why? Because I remember the day when I didn't have $20 to spend on pants.
So the reason that I bring this all together it just happens to be that Malcolm Glazer made his fortune in Rochester, New York. The Glazer family, weirdly enough, a member of the Glazer family rented the house on my block a couple years ago. So yeah, I'm intimately aware of that family, so I kind of follow them. And so we have two Rochester guys who started with nothing, who became millionaires, or at least who became very rich based on their own grit and ingenuity. And then the way that they express that is by looking at someone else's pants and saying, your pants are trying to show that you're rich. My pants keep me rich. All right? So anyways, am I going to call this video as 38 Spesh the Malcolm Glazer of hip-hop? No, because not enough people know who Malcolm Glazer is. But for you, the person who's watched 25 minutes of the video, that is my gift to you. 38 Spesh is the Malcolm Glazer of rap. Been Through is the next track with El Camino. This is where things get a little bit weird. It's kind of a boring beat. I do like this sort of like woo sound in the beginning. El Camino, ooh, I like his name a lot. But he just isn't quite up to snuff with them. You know, like he does a lot of sort of like slanted rhymes that end and then punctuates it with the N-word kind of over and over again. I do enjoy his inventive pronunciation of Comme des Garçons. I do like the line, I didn't write the Bible, but I wrote the Psalms. I don't know what that means, but that's okay. And then he sings this like straight up G-Unit chorus. And this is what I'm talking about. It's a little bit different. Unfortunately, Conway kind of matches like the energy and talent of El Camino, and he's not as interesting or as good as he is on the rest of the album. And then 38 Spesh isn't here. And then we get to the track Special Machinery, which I already mentioned. We get the fireplace, super bass, heavy drums, some harpsichord, almost ghost sounds in the back, a different kind of cadence in 38 Spesh's voice here. There's a cow sound. If it's insurance, if it's interference. I'm allergic. Moo! I'm allergic to swine. I break out the hives if the pig's near us. I don't really know what it is. He talks about being 38 years old, which is cool. You know, like he's talking about his age. I always stayed low because the streets is dead. I disappear once a year like Easter eggs. I don't know what it means to disappear once a year. Maybe he's going to like re-up or something out of some drug deal. But it's just great. And then there's no Conway on here. The end of the album is sort of like, hey, where's Poochie? Like, where's Conway or where's 38 Spesh? Next track is Goodfellas featuring Benny the Butcher. Again, this is like the second time on the album where they make reference to being upstate. I want to say, I know why they're saying upstate, because they are appealing to a New York and American audience, okay? And to America and to New York, upstate is all of New York that is not New York City. But for those of us who live in Western New York, we don't want to be associated with those upstate people. Like, that's a whole different vibe. Like, that's a whole, I wouldn't, you know? Yuck. We have to pretend like we're better than upstate New York, or God help us, North Country, okay? Like there's a whole bunch of geography, so it does bug me that he says upstate. But also, do you know who cares about that? Nobody, except for people in Western New York. Stand out there in 3 feet of snow and figure it out. You know, it's kind of nice there. He does, 38 Spesh does. What are they doing now? Is this like a chainsaw massacre? Anyways, there's a chainsaw massacre next door. I'm going to keep doing the video. It's half an hour in. You already gave me a like bucket. That is awfully extreme, though. He has this line, you put seeds in the chickens like Chinese food. You know, referring to women as chicken. And then Chinese food like sesame chicken. It's a super gross line, but that's the kind of creativity that 38 Spesh has. Conway's great here. They see the level up and now they're real salty. Tell them P N-words. Jump if they feel froggy. I do have a long loving history of the term feeling froggy. I was introduced to it by the criminally underrated Malibu's Most Wanted. Still to this day, if I ever get my parking validated, I slap it down and go, "You'll validate parking." Like I think B-Rad is one of the great figures in rap movie history. I'm saying that as a white man talking about a white man, but I can do that because I decided to. I think he is up there, okay? I think we need to really reevaluate B-Rad as a figure in hip-hop cinema. But That being said, that was the first time I heard it, because he said, "You feeling froggy? Then leap." But of course, I mainly think of Key and Peele. "Okay, Max Legroom, you get yours. Meanwhile, I'm gonna go Hayden Panettiere on some Terries, especially when they get froggy." That's what I think. Hey, it's my birthday. I'm gonna talk about that. And Benny's verse, what the hell, Benny the Butcher? Talk about, okay, so ever since I first reviewed Griselda a couple years ago, I've tried to review everything that they do. And I've been getting frustrated with Benny because he feels like sometimes he's just totally on it and just totally awesome. The Chainsaw Massacre continues. He's totally on it and he's totally awesome. And sometimes he's just kind of mailing it in. And on this verse, he's totally on it. Like this opening line, "You really got to know the difference from suckers and real steppers." Like, god damn it, like suckers and real steppers. Like, what's he setting up with suckers and real steppers? Like, now in my mind, if I were a younger man, because when you're a young man, you can often allow rap music to determine the way that you speak. I want to divide the entire world into two groups: suckers and real steppers. Okay, which one are you, huh? Wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, and say, "Today, am I going to be a sucker or a real stepper?" And the ones who handle the beef first, like a meal prepper? Crazy punchline, out of nowhere. My beats harder, my whip newer, my deal better, my bank statement 6 pages long, like a jail letter? Like tying together his history of being a 3-time felon mixed in with his bank statements. It's all there. By the way, quick word on Benny the Butcher. He has been getting a lot of anger for saying he would vote for Trump. I want to say a couple things. One, he said that he would vote for Trump in 2024, which if you don't like Trump, that's annoying. But also, don't forget, in 2016, he referred to Trump as a drunk uncle who is not presidential and should not be there. And then he concluded it by saying the presidents don't do anything for him and nothing they do will affect him. I guess Reagan flooded the streets with dope, so he did that for me. But beyond that, I don't care what presidents do. Which is a brief reminder, do not expect small businessmen and self-made moguls to be liberal Democrats, okay? Just in general. It doesn't matter your race or whatever. At a certain point in America, when you are a small business person, when you are a self-made person, the draw of lower taxes is too great. Is too great to resist for some people. Okay. Anyways, that is my call to not cancel Benny the MAGA. I think we're gonna be okay if and also he can't vote because he's a 3-time felon. Which is like really screwed up. And frankly, whoever the hell is going to be president should put that on the docket, okay? How about you put that on the docket? How about we let felons vote? How about when people are free, they're free? How about when they're citizens, they're citizens? Okay? How about that? How about Trump says he's going to do that and I'll vote for the guy? Okay? Go ahead, cancel me. We get real prison reform, I'll vote for Bo, okay? He's sleeping over there, but if he's going to do real prison reform, I'll do it. All right. Next track is called Unruly. Very sultry saxophone, kind of a 70s fantasy. Like when the beat comes in, it's just awesome. I don't know. Like, is this 38 Spesh? Is this Jimmy Dukes? Is this both? I don't know, but this is really great production. Conway just goes for it. 38's on here. He's fine, but he's not quite as upfront as he is on other songs. Next track is Made Bosses, featuring E. Manny, who wins the T.J. Swan Award for, oh, really? I'm going to have singing on this song? Both? Okay. I think I would prefer it without T.J. Swan. T.J. Swan was the guy who sang on the album Going Off by Biz Markie, which is one of the greatest old school rap albums of all time that also has an awful lot of T.J. Swan singing eternal lyrics such as, "I go to the Albee Square Mall. Albee Square Mall, we go to the..." This has a little bit of that. In general, the sort of back half of this album gets a little bit weaker. You know, the winds of the losses made the bosses. Interesting idea. And then we get to the final track, We Outside. It's got some guitar, almost like an Al Green. I swear I've heard this sample before. Tell me in the comments if you've heard this kind of, oh. I know I've heard oh from somewhere else. Conway is just great. Lobster tail and shrimp with the broccoli. My trench is Versace. I'll cheat a print so the bees can spot me. S that I jot should be listed as top 3. 30 in this clip Glock. I'll hit your B word in the top piece. Just great, more of those kind of nice multi-syllabic rhymes. Apparently Pharaoh Monk is singing on here, and unlike the TJ Swan guy on the last, and by the way, last guy Yemeni like wasn't bad. Like I actually like TJ Swan, but it sort of took me out of the kind of register that I was in on this album, if that makes sense. Whereas here Pharaoh Monk is singing, and it's a little bit more in keeping with it. Chez Noir is on here. I always want to hear Chez Noir. Another more proof of the excellence of Buffalo, and I will talk about it when anyone asks me. Buffalo has 4 major female rap artists who are all different and extremely good. What other cities have 4 prominent, excellent, especially for the population base? It's just crazy. Chez Noir is probably my favorite of that group. She has a sort of like personability to her, like you really kind of feel that she means what she's saying. Being underrated-ish, ruin my patience, guess I'm due for a vacation, set back, keep losing the basics. Later she says, at what point does paying dues leave you in debt? That's great. And then she ends the whole thing with a great kind of multi-syllabic ist line. So that's my review. That's my birthday review. Happy birthday to me. Despite all these lawnmowers making my life worse, these are my Patreons. I'm totally going to buy this album if I can figure out like when it drops and all that stuff. But I have a hard time figuring out when stuff drops. I'm so bad at buying rap albums. I do my best, but it really takes a lot more attention than I have. So they give me money, and I want to get this to represent Western New York. All right. Till next time, for Bo, for Fiona Apple, and hey, Toby's over there. Hey, Toby, you want to say hi? There's the camera. Toby? No. All right. We're good. Oh, there he is. Hey, Toby. There you are. All right. Till next time, there's the camera.